我是蔡理，我是 NUW 爸爸。许多有去过澳洲打工度假的朋友们应该有经验，为什么到了澳洲，明明应该跟澳洲当地人一样受到当地劳动法的保障，可是却又常常听到有打工度假者甘愿忍受那些不法雇主及中介的不公平剥削呢？今天很特别的邀请到澳洲 NUW 总部，跟大家分享一下，为什么澳洲应该有的劳动法是如何受到移民政策的影响呢？我们接着来看下去。
Hi, my name is Godfrey Mose. I'm Assistant General Branch Secretary of the National Union of Workers. We're here today to talk about the National Union of Workers' position and approach when it comes to migration and migrant workers in Australia. So our number one belief, our number one value is that every worker counts. What that means for us is that every worker at a workplace, no matter where they've come from around the world, no matter how they've arrived here, matters and deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. So our approach is about making sure everyone has equal rights on the job. For us, the biggest problem when it comes to the Australian migration system is that labour law in Australia, the law that sets workers' rights, wages and conditions and how they can be enforced, is too bound up with our migration system in Australia, which covers who can come here and how long they can stay here for. And that's the problem for us. We have a situation where people might sometimes be worried about getting kicked out of Australia, so they don't speak up about their fundamental rights at work. That's a really big problem. So what we want to see is the separation of these two regimes of law, so that every worker who's in a workplace feels confident to speak up, to enforce their rights, and so that we don't create a system in Australia where people from different parts of the world, like Taiwan or Hong Kong, end up getting treated differently than workers who are permanent residents or citizens in Australia. So there's a number of different visa regimes which people enter and work into Australia, whether that's through the seasonal worker program that is mainly from the Pacific region, or whether it's from the backpackers, working holiday makers, mainly from East Asia and Europe, or whether that's the skilled visa migration program. There's a lot of different ways where people can get visas to work into Australia. We just believe that the number one thing is that everyone has an equal right, equal work rights when they're in Australia, and people for the same work pay the same amount of tax, and all those positions are separated out. So what does that mean for working holiday makers coming into Australia? We think that there is a problem when working holiday makers are made to pay different levels of taxation to local workers. When we work, we should all pay the same. And we can have an argument democratically in Australia about whether we should pay more or who should pay and what we should fund. But we believe that two workers working side by side should be subject to the exact same tax rates. So that's the number one thing for us, that workers doing the same job get treated in the same way and have the same rights. So that's one on taxation. Number two, sometimes we have a problem as well. Actually, always we have a problem with the way that visas are renewed. So we want to make sure that working holiday makers, their right to have their visa renewed, your right to stay in Australia for an extra 12 months should you want to, should not be reliant on any one Australian employer who feels like they can hold that over you and exercise really unfair, unbalanced power relationships. The sorts of things where people are basically blackmailed or abused, or subject to really abusive treatment just so they can get their paperwork signed off on for a second year of their visa is not appropriate. Either you have a right to work for 12 months or just for 24 months. It'd be much clearer and much simpler rather than having that checked off by one employer and you being totally subject to their whims and their demands. That's completely unfair as far as we're concerned. So there are two big problems with the way that the current working holiday maker program works. We want a program that's fair, open and transparent so that when a worker comes here, they have the same rights on the job as any other local worker. And we think that that's really critical to look after working holiday makers and to look after Australian permanent residents and citizens. The other problem, the other visa that we commonly deal with a lot is the seasonal worker program, and that's workers who come over for 6 months into Australia from the Pacific region and Timor-Leste, work in the agricultural areas and then go back home for another 6 months. What we'd like to see there is a system where workers there don't feel like they're right to return after 6 months back home is dependent again on the whims of any one employer or contractor, because that sets up really unfair relationships. So our thing is, our whole approach to migration and labour law is they need to be separated. People need to make sure when they're at work, or we want to make sure when people are at work they have the exact same rights, and that's the only way we can make sure that every single worker counts.
最后，各位朋友，我们 NUW 与台湾打工度假青年于5月27日晚间7点，在台北中山全聚开办免费的澳洲打工度假说明会，欢迎计划要去澳洲打工度假的台湾朋友一同过来参加我们的讲座，名额有限，快点线上来报名哦！看完了我们这支影片，希望要去澳洲打工度假，你们都可以加入我们澳洲 NUW 工会，多一份保障。我是澳洲 NUW 台湾区的 Bob。如果你想要进一步了解澳洲 NUW 工会的资讯，都可以联系我们的 LINE 官方或是我们的 Facebook 专页。当然，也别忘记订阅我们的 YouTube 频道，定时收看我们的影片哦。我们下次再见哦，拜拜。